Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this Elesall LED camping lantern. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon. And if you use that link, it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So if we look on the side here, it says knob dimming, large capacity battery, Type-C charging, waterproof. Let's get this open. So here we have the lantern and the charge cable. So this cable has USB Type A on one end, USB Type C on the other. Let's look at the manual real quick. So it says handle, LED, tungsten, rotary switch. So this has USB Type C charging and USB Type A output. So you can use the battery in this to charge your phone, and that way it functions as a power bank. Here are the product parameters. Material is ABS plus iron. Light source is LED plus tungsten. Has rechargeable batteries. 0 to 100% variable power dial. So it has stepless dimming. So it charges with USB and it has 4 indicator lights. Each indicates 25% of the charge. So all 4 would be 75 to 100%. 3 would be 50 to 75 and so on. So let's look at the lantern. So we have a metal hoop for the handle with plastic on top. We have this plastic on the very top of the lantern. This looks kind of like a knob, but that's not the knob. It's down below. Here we have a plastic lens, and it has a wire guard around it. We have a chrome style reflector. Here we have the on-off knob. On this side, we have this flap where we have the USB charging and USB output. And then on the bottom, we have these rubber feet. So let's turn this on. So it clicked when I started it, and this is on the low mode, and then we'll turn it up, and this is your high mode. So this lantern actually has 2 different modes. On the low mode, you see these elements here. And then when we turn it up, those get brighter and brighter. And then it transitions to the dome on the top. So this has the more outward facing light, and this is more downward facing. So let me turn the light off here. Let me turn off my overhead light. Okay, so let's turn this on the low mode. There we go. So you can see the wires here create shadows. So I think that gives it a nice vintage look. Now if you have some requirement where the shadows will not work for you, then needless to say you'll want to avoid this. But if you're using this for emergency use or camping, that just kind of gives it character. So now I'll turn it up. So you can see it has stepless dimming. Now my camera's probably adjusting this, so it's kind of hard to see the brightness. Let me lock my exposure on low. Okay, so now I'll turn it up. And this is on the highest mode. So on the highest mode, maybe they're still there. You can still see a little bit of the shadows here, but the brightness of the lights really overcome that. So this is on my bench surface here. If I lift it up, it's probably darkest directly under. You can kind of see the shadow on my bench. Actually, it's kind of harder to see in person than it is on the camera. So if I wanted to illuminate my bench, I'd want to move this over to the side a bit. So now I have that more even light here. So I'm going to point my camera at the wall about 4 foot away, and I'll hold the lantern the same distance away, and I'll show what the projected light looks like. Okay, so I have a little bit of ambient light coming on here from the back. So I'll turn the lantern on. So it illuminates it a little bit. So on this mode, it would be good for accent lighting. So if you had a power outage and you really want to extend the life of the lantern, you might turn it on low and set it in a central location. And then you'll be able to see the outlines of your furniture and things so you're not bumping into things. So say you want to play cards or a board game, you might want a little more light. So I'll turn it up a little bit. And now we have more light. I can easily see the wall here. Now I can't see a lot of detail, nor do I need to, but this would be good for non-detail oriented tasks. Now say I was cooking, I'll turn it up to the brightest, and with this mode you can see more detail. So it doesn't really show up on the wall a lot because a lot of the light is projected down, but I'll move the lantern around here so you can kind of see light. So you can see it's brighter here. Let's turn that off. So I want to demonstrate charging this. So I have a charger. You can charge this with any phone charger, computer, car, RV, USB port. A lot of outlets have USB ports now, so there are many options for charging this. Open this up. I'll plug in the USB Type-C port there. I'll plug it into my charger. So it's flashing, so it's between 75 and 100% full right now. And it's currently charging at 1.34 amps. So as the battery gets fuller, it's going to lower that charge rate to top off the battery, but that's a pretty good charge rate there. So according to the Amazon description, on the fullest charge, on the lowest mode, this will run around 72 hours. So during a power outage, if you're using this around 8 hours in the evening on that low mode, you get around 9 nights out of it. So I'll charge this all the way up and I'll do a runtime test on the highest mode and see how long it lasts on that. And I'll put a little note on the screen. So that's the Elesall LED camping lantern. I like the retro look of this. It has styling cues of an old Coleman gas lantern. Now when you combine the lithium-ion batteries with the LED elements, it makes for a very bright, efficient lamp. When I was growing up, lanterns had to be big and bulky because they had these huge batteries and large bulbs in them, and they wouldn't run very long and the light quality was poor. The innovations of LEDs and lithium batteries has really changed the lantern scene. So you can have this lightweight lantern with lots of power, lots of light. I really like the stepless dimming on this. Oftentimes when I'm camping, I don't want the brightest light. Like if I were using this in a tent at night before I go to bed, I just will put it on the dimmest mode. Your eyes will adjust to that light. I really don't want that bright light right before I go to bed. So I turn this on that dimmest mode, do what I need to do, and I can shut it off. But then maybe sitting around the campfire, I might want a little bit of light on a picnic table, so I can turn it on, say, a medium mode, and this can do that just fine. So if you're looking for an upgrade to your camping lantern, I think this is a great option. These can also make a great gift for someone. You don't even have to be into camping or anything. These are nice to have on hand just for emergency purposes too. One thing to point out with the lithium batteries is you do want to charge these up every few months because lithium batteries can become damaged if you run them down to 0% and they're stored like that. But that's really not hard to do, and it's a good idea to keep it charged up anyway in case you need it for an emergency. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.